Well, good day to all of our awesome following. Listen, we've got a very different training today. Go on and enjoy that mental vacation break. And, you know, things happen in your business that oftentimes people don't actually see. And so I thought that I would share this because, you know, how do you deal with negatives? How do you deal with someone who doesn't appreciate what you're doing, someone that puts you on blast, someone that, you know, spews a little venom and, you know, what have you, all right? Because the reality is when your aim is to serve a lot, and when you understand the laws of the universe, and when you understand marketing, all right, what happens is you are rewarded. The marketplace rewards you for the value you bring to the marketplace. The marketplace rewards you for the value you bring to the marketplace. So if you want to make more money, if you want to get more sales, if you want to get more recruits, if you want to build a larger team, then you want to increase your value to the marketplace, because there's a direct proportion. The more valuable you become to the marketplace, the more the marketplace is going to reward you with those things you desire. You want more sales, you want more recruits, you want to make more money, so on and so forth. And then of course you've got your reasons why you want to make more money. Hopefully it's not just for the bling bling, even though we're showing a little bling bling here. All right, so I got an email. I got an email today, and it was nasty. All right, so I'm going to warn you that there's going to be some very nasty language, profane language. I don't use profanity, but this person had a profanity-laced tirade. And the reason I want to share this with you is because at some point in your business, you're going to deal with folks like this. And so how do you deal with folks like this? How do you deal with folks like this and not get into a negative space? All right, so the one thing I did was I just copied the email. I didn't even want to show their name. Maybe they're just having a bad day. And so what happens is this person has opted in to our webinar list. Now, nobody made them opt in. They chose to opt in, all right? So they opted into our webinar list. And with our webinar system, it sends a reminder, hey, there's a webinar coming up, all right? And so they responded to the message about the webinar coming up with this particular message. Now, again, the reason I'm sharing this is because I want to show you that, you know, it's not going to always be, you know, everybody's not going to love you. All right, we all want to be validated. We all want to be loved. We all want that attaboy, attagirl. That's not going to always be the case. So how do we deal with that? How do we deal with that? Okay, so what they said was, quite frankly, I have seen enough same old nonsense webinars. Never mentioned regarding when, who pays. Probably you're not intending to do so. So I guess this person, for whatever reason, is thinking that I'm THW Global, and obviously I continually say, hey, even though we've got the URL THWGlobal webinar.com, I'll put this disclaimer out so many times because I don't want people thinking that I am THW Global. The website, the URL was available, so I grabbed it. It's just that simple, all right? And but I'm an IV just like you, looking to build a large-scale enterprise just like you, all right? They say all you want is to build a list for yourself. Well, sure, yeah, I am building a list. And anyone that understands marketing should understand that outside of you, and I continue to teach this, your business is you and your following. Your business is you and your following. All right, so the most important part of your business is you. And so you want to be working on you every day. And then the second biggest asset that you have is your following. So yes, I don't apologize. Yes, I'm building a list. I want to build a list. Now, one of the things that we have committed to those of you that have opted in to THWGlobalWebinar.com is that we would never send out any personal referral links to that list. And we have kept to that promise. As a matter of fact, most of the training that I do with the team in mind. And, you know, whereas a lot of folks, when they're putting out, let's say, YouTube videos, they're saying, okay, come join me in the company. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's promotion. As you'll notice, most of my videos, even the ones I put on YouTube, in the video, I never say, hey, come join me. It's all about bringing value to what? The marketplace, because the marketplace rewards you for what? For the value you bring to it. All right, so the person goes on to say, and again, I'm sharing this because I want you to know that you're going to have, not everybody's going to be your fan. Not everybody's going to be rooting for you, okay? And especially when you start to, build a large-scale enterprise and you're dealing with more and more and more people, you're going to have those very minor few, not that the person is minor or the person is minute, but the minority, that's what I'm looking for. You're going to have a very small minority of folks that, it just doesn't matter what you say. You can never say the right thing to the wrong person. You can never say the right thing to the wrong person. You can never say the wrong thing to the right person. You can never say the wrong thing to the right person. Okay, so they say, all you speak about during the webinars are the success of some other company, which you will never achieve. I don't quite understand what that means, because we've already achieved success, and maybe they're saying we're not going to achieve success in THWGlobal. Maybe that's what they're saying. I don't know. But we understand the laws of the universe, and we understand that the more we give, the more we give, the more we give, the more we're going to get. All right, that's just a law. That's just a law. All right, and it works for anybody who works at law. Now here's some profanity. Who the whatever is Doc? How about a real full name, pal? Well, obviously this is probably somebody who's not following us intimately, or they would understand, because we've said this repeatedly. The reason we don't use our name is so that people don't try to search us out. Because of the way we build, and we do a lot of video, we know that our Joe average and our Sue average would have a very difficult time building their team competing. Why? Because what happens is when people hear the name of the company that people are promoting, they're going to either go to Google or they're going to go to YouTube. In many cases, not all, but in many cases, they're going to go to Google and they're going to go to YouTube. But right now, if you go to YouTube, I've got 50+ videos talking about THWGlobal. All right, so if I was using my name on all those videos, how would my Joe average, and I'm trying to get my Joe average to build a team, I'm trying to get my Sue average to build a team, how would they compete? So what we've done is we've decided to, for the majority of our videos, all 50+ videos now that we have on YouTube, we've decided that we want to tailor our video content so that anybody could leverage it. And so by not mentioning my name, or only mentioning something like Doc, it gives my Joe average and my Sue average a fighting chance. And, so this person obviously hasn't followed us intimately enough to understand that, or they're just the wrong person. So maybe they've heard that, but you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. So they say THW is you and your shady intentions. So again, they must think I'm THW, and I'm not. I'm just an IV. All right, and they talk about a bunch of poor, silly, sorry, whatever, low-rate presentation. Well, that stings a little bit. I take very pride in my presentation. I think I've got a pretty good presentation. All right, but again, you can't say the right thing to the wrong people. The question answer segment should hightail it to the YouTube comedy section and make a video of that BS. Maybe it will get viewed. Well, there are other folks on YouTube like Currency 365. He's got views up the yin yang, right? We're not quite at 100,000 views across all of our videos, but we're getting there. We're getting close. So, we're getting some views there. And so they go on and, they say a whole bunch of other stuff. How do you sleep at night? I sleep very well at night. Why? Because I know, look, we've been promoting THWGlobal now for 2 months. We hadn't made a dime, just like you hadn't made a dime. But we spend, I don't even know the number of hours that we have spent just on cutting content like this. And again, this is designed, this particular training is so that if you've not built a large scale business and you want to, you need to understand that you're going to have some folks that just aren't going to appreciate you. And what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to get into a negative space. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to try to do tit for tat and, this person is using a lot of profanity. That's not me. I don't use profanity. So I'm not going to get into a profanity-laced tirade or or what have you, okay? And then they say that they're going to go and play some ads regarding my stupid antics, warning others of this nonsense. They tell me to get a real life, but they're going to spend their time, maybe even their money, you know, talking bad about me. Well, you know, there's some people who are out there that will say that there is no such thing as bad publicity. All right. So, you know, if you happen to be seeing this, the person that sent me this, you know, do what you must, have at it. Now, I want you to see my response back to them. I want you to see my response back to them because, again, what I want you to understand is that not everybody's going to be your fan. Not everybody's going to be, hey, that a boy, I appreciate everything that you're doing as you're building out your team. And we're all humans. All right, we're all humans. We all have our subconscious programming. Nobody likes to be rejected. We all want to be loved. We all want to be well thought of. And so when someone sends you something like this, it's going to sting. All right. How do you respond? Well, there's a couple things you could do. You could actually just decide to delete something like this and not respond at all. All right. And that might be the best course of action. Just don't even give it a voice. Don't even respond at all. If you choose to respond, then consider this. This would, you know, my mom, what would she say? She would say something about you can catch more flies with sugar or honey. And I don't know why you want to catch flies, but oh, okay. So maybe you want to trap flies, all right, with sugar or honey. My father-in-law would say, kill them with kindness. Now it was funny because my father-in-law was pretty ornery guy. I love him, but he was pretty ornery. So he said, kill him with kindness. I just never saw him do it. All right. So here's my response to them. So you could choose not to respond. And that's a great way to go. If you choose to respond, all right, don't get into the mud. If you choose to respond, don't get into the mud. So here was my response. My grandmother lived to be 101. For the oldest of us, life is short. It's obvious that I'm not your guy. That's fine. Move on. Life is way too short. My message does not resonate with you, and that's okay. I'll continue serving my audience with passion and vigor. I can't say the right thing to the wrong person. I can't say the wrong thing to the right person. I'm not the guy for you. And again, that's okay. Life's too short. Just move on. Don't stress out. Doc. And then I gave this part of the thing, I did a little PS. And basically the PS said, listen, this is the last time I'm going to respond to you. So if you choose to send more profanity-laced messages, then they'll go unheard or something like that, or unresponded. So what I want you to understand from this, all right, let's give you just some points here that you can walk away with. All right, so number one, what I want you to understand is not everyone is going to be your fan. Listen, I know that we've got a lot of people that follow us that are people of faith, different faiths, but people of faith. Now, I happen to be reared in the Christian faith, and, you know, this is not a religious platform, but, you know, the central character in the religious faith, obviously Jesus, listen, you know, whether you believe him or don't believe him or what have you, but at least in the scriptures there, I mean, this dude is opening blinded eyes, and he's healing the sick, and he's even raising the dead. Again, some of you may believe that, may not believe that, and you know, this is not the forum for that particular discussion. My whole point is, even though he healed the sick and raised the dead and all that good stuff, they killed him. they killed him. They killed him. All right. So not everybody's going to be your fan. Come to grips with that. Come to grips with that. Not everybody's going to be your fan. All right. Number two, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. All right. So don't get into a back and forth, and certainly don't get to the point where you start, you know, being negative. You know, if for instance, it's not your demeanor to use profanity, all right, and someone sends you something and it's profanity laced, don't get out of your character. All right, be who you are, because understand, you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. At the same time, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Now, what that simply means is when you often hear me talk about your business is not your offer. All right, as passionate as I am about THW Global, I understand that THW Global is not my business. It's an extension of my business. Your business is you, all right, and your following. You hear me say this a lot. If you've been following us intimately, you and your following. Okay, now, this word following is more than just saying a list. This word following means more than just, hey, you and your list. Because you're going to have people in your list. This person was in my list, but they're not a part of my following. This person is in my list. I hope they've opted out, okay? If not, they should. And if they continue to be in the list, and if they send some more profanity-laced tirade, I'm just going to delete it, all right? Because I've already told them I'm not responding anymore to you. Go and live your life. Life's too short to be stressed out. Your following are going to be those that they capture your spirit. Your following is going to be those that even if something that you refer them to doesn't quite work out, hey, that's just part of the game. That's just part of business. That's part of being an entrepreneur. All right. There are people that are in my list that are part of my following, that have followed me. There's one young lady, Vernetta. I mean, she and I, we've been connected since 2003. Shelly Lynn, we've been connected since 2003. Norm Scott, we've been connected since 2005-ish, 2006 or so. A lot of folks that have followed us for well more than a decade. All right. So you've got your list, but in your list, you're looking to develop a following. And it's your following that you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Now, obviously, you want to be a person of integrity. Obviously, you want to be a person of character. So I'm not suggesting that that you take your following for granted. But what I am saying is you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. That's just, that person is just not, your message doesn't resonate with them. They don't resonate with you. And it's better that you've got things in place that filter those folks out as quickly as possible. Let them opt out. Never be discouraged if people opt out. Let them opt out. That means that that person is not a part of your following. You don't just you build a list so that you can start to grow a following. Write that one down. You build a list so you can start to grow a following. Why is that important? Okay, you have a following. Back in 2011, we're promoting a particular offer. It blows up. I mean, it kicks butt, goes across the globe. 2012, unfortunately, that particular offer runs into some major regulatory headwinds, and immediately that thing, was no more. All right. Now, we had people on our list. But the folks that were part of our following, when we said, hey, guys, we don't know what's going on. Let's try to find out what's going on. Give us a couple of weeks. If we've got to, plant a flag with another company, we'll let you know what's going on. And a couple of weeks later, we planted our flag with another company. And immediately, we were the #1 builders with that company because we had a what? Because we had a following. You build a list. You build a list so you can start to grow your following, okay? And then number 3, and we'll end with this. Keep it positive. For the oldest of us, life is short. For the oldest of us, my grandmother lived to be 101. I had a great aunt. My Aunt Pat lived to be 108. Her mom lived to be 110. Longevity on both sides of my fence, on my mom's side, on my dad's side. But for the oldest of us, life is short. So when someone questions your integrity and you're a person of integrity, someone questions your character and you're a person of strong character, someone questions your intentions and that your intent is to give. Yes, you want to get, but you understand the laws of the universe. You got to give in order for you to get, all right? So when they say, how do you sleep at night? I sleep very well, very well. I never lose a night's sleep because I know that I have done right by my following. The people that I can't say the wrong thing to. This person, that I'll never be able to say the right thing to that person. Right now, they're so jaded. All right, so there's no need for me to try to go tit for tat, tat for tit. Life's too short, and the only reason I'm doing this right now and spending this time is I saw it as a great teaching moment to help you in your business. Now, if you're seeing this on social media and you have not opted into our list and you want to get training like this, as well as how to build your THW Global business, how to build any enterprise, then go to THWGlobalwebinar.com. All right, we have a webinar series. We do a Tuesday night webinar, 8 p.m. Eastern, where we do a combo. We do about 35 minutes of presenting THW Global from our perspective. And then we do about 35 minutes of what I like to call finger paint. Basic marketing training. And because most people in THW Global, even though we've got, right now we're going on 1 million folks that are registered, over 400,000 that have actually taken their demographic survey, the reality is the majority of those numbers have come from a minority of the people in THW Global. So what you have is you have a few folks that have personally enrolled 100 or 200 or 500. Some people have enrolled 1,000 or more. All right, or to the multi-thousands, but then you've got a lot of zeros, a lot of people that haven't enrolled anyone because they don't quite yet understand how to build a business. And so what we want to do is we want to help people understand the basics of how do you build a business. You build a list, all right? Within that list, you build the following. How do you build that following? Because you are providing consistent, valuable content to that list. Well, how do you get consistent content to go into the list? We cover those types of things. Then on Thursday nights, that's our mobile marketing night. At least for the foreseeable future, we are going to be launching a mobile marketing platform to promote THW Global. And this is a platform that I've been a beta tester of for 3 years. And this thing is so kick butt. For those that leverage it, for those who will follow our training on it and leveraging it, you are going to build. If you want to talk about a following, you're going to build a following. You're going to build the following. That's what the system is designed to do, to help you build a following so that you really grow your THW Global business and put that on warp speed. But you attract the right people. The system's going to weed out this person who sent me this email. The system would have weeded them out. All right, we probably never would have even gotten to this point because the system would have weeded them out and said, well, you're not ready for our system. And it doesn't mean that they're not a good person. It doesn't mean that at all. All right, maybe they were just having a bad day. Doesn't mean that they're not a good person. It just means that we're not on the same page. We're not even in the same book. We're not even in the same library. And guess what? That's okay. That's okay. That really is okay. All right. And so so Thursday night at 8 p.m. And then what we do when you are part of the list is we'll also send out periodic trainings throughout the week. This is a periodic training that we would send out to our list. So periodic trainings throughout the week. Also, when you go here, it's going to ask you to allow for our push notifications. You want to allow for that so that when we do send out any type of training, when we do send out an email, if you don't get the email because of spam filters and what have you, then the push notification is another way to say, hey, we just posted a new video blog, a new training, or what have you, okay? All right, so hopefully this has brought you value. If it has not, then it probably means I'm not your guy, and that's okay. All right, it really is. That's okay. And if I'm not your guy, there's no need to send anything negative, like this, because I'm either not going to respond to it or I'm going to respond with something like this, which will probably just tick you off even more. And if I'm your guy, continue to follow us very intimately. You know by now we love each and every one of you. Let's change the world together, starting with yours.